love was a ghost story, a beautiful lie, until you walked in and caught my eye. For the first time I felt the beat, a rhythm so new, a taste so sweet. I never believed in love until I saw your face. I never knew my heart could find a home, a sacred place. 3 years of Saturdays, 3 years of us. Now I'm standing in the ruins, choking on the dust. Weekly traditions, the same old bench. Now there's a distance, a widening trench. You look at your phone with a secret smile, while I'm walking that lonely final mile. Your eyes are different, your touch is cold. The story is changing, the truth is told. You found a new light, you found a new spark, while I'm left here fumbling in the dark. I didn't know how to love, now I don't know how to live. But I'm giving you back the heart you made me believe. I'm walking away, both eyes raining. Goodbye to the never. I was comfortable in the quiet, no one to answer to, no emotional riot. I kept my walls high, a fortress of one. Never needed the moon, never cared for the sun. Life was a straight line, simple and plain. No risk of a loss and no fear of the pain. Love was never something I needed, so I told myself. I kept my feelings dusty, high up on the shelf. But you broke the lock, you walked through the door. Now I'm wanting it forever, I never wanted before, yeah. Love was never for me, until it was you. We built a world in the span of a week, found a language of secrets we didn't have to speak. Every Saturday morning a new page we turned. In the school of your heart I was happy to learn. 3 years of building, brick by brick, but the shadows are starting to grow heavy and thick. Now your eyes are drifting to a different screen, to a life and a person that I haven't seen. There never is returning, but it feels so much worse, because knowing your love is a beautiful curse. It wasn't for me, now it's all I see. Watching you leave. had a routine, I had my own space. No ghost in my hallway, no ghost of a face. The silence was heavy, but it felt like a friend. I didn't have stories that had to come to an end. I was the master of my own little world before the banner of us was unfurled. I was fine being alone, a heart made of timber, a house made of stone. I didn't need a hand to hold in the dark. I didn't need a fire, I didn't need a spark. But you made me human, you made me feel. Now the alone feels like something unreal. 3 years of Saturdays, we made them our own. But now when I call you, I just get the tone. You're physically there, but your mind is away. In the silence of dinner, there's nothing to say. I'm back in the room where I started this ride, but it's crowded with memories I'm trying to hide. Is it better to know what I'm missing today, or stay in the gray where the heart doesn't play? You show me the light just to blow out the flame. Oh, now alone is a word that carries your name. Yeah, I was fine, I was doing just fine until you were mine. I watched the movies, I read all the lines, but I couldn't see through the heart's messy signs. Logic was safety, and numbers were true. I lived in a vacuum till I met you. Every emotion was a foreign tongue, a song that I thought I'd never have sung. I never understood what people felt, how a heart could freeze, how a heart could melt. I thought missing someone was a waste of a day, until I watched you start to drift away. Now the feelings are loud, and the feelings are deep, and the promises that you no longer keep. 3 years of learning the map of your soul, but I'm losing my grip, I'm losing control. You're staring at screens with a look I don't know, the seeds of someone else starting to grow. I finally understand what heartbreak and truth is a weight. I learned how to love just a little too late. To understand love is to understand loss, and I'm finally counting the ultimate cost. I understand now. I feel it all now. The silence is breaking me. I used to sit on the edge of the crowd while the world was laughing and singing out loud. I saw the hand holding the soft, stolen looks, the cliches they write in the back of the books. It looked like a movie, a stage-managed scene, like a color I'd heard of but never had seen. I saw them fall in love, but I felt nothing, just a hollow chest and a quiet humming. I was a statue frozen in time, while they were all busy making their climb. But then you touched my hand and the stone began to break. I didn't know how much a heart could actually ache. 3 years later the tables have turned. Now I'm the one with the lesson that's learned. I see the couples who are just starting out, while I'm in the corner, drowning in doubt. I see you smiling at a name on your screen, and I finally know what those sad songs mean. I prefer the cold. Before the story of us was ever told, because seeing them happy just reminds me of you, and the nothing I felt was much easier to do. Now I feel everything, and it's killing me. I felt nothing until you. I used to wake up in a world of gray, checking the boxes, getting through the day. No highs to chase, no lows to fear, just a steady rhythm year after year. A normal life with a normal heart, never expected to be torn apart. Every day felt the same, a quiet, empty street, until the moment that we happened to meet. You turned the normal into something divine, but now you're drawing a different line. The routine is back, but the peace is gone. I'm just a ghost waiting for the dawn. 3 years of Saturdays, now they're just days, lost in a thick and recognizable haze. You're sitting right there, but you're miles away. I'm fine is the only thing you can say, but I see the truth in the way that you hide. The normal we had has officially died. I trade the normal to go back to the start, before I knew how to give you my heart. Because now that I've seen the world in your light, a normal day feels like a permanent night. Just another day, watching you slip away. Everything's normal, but nothing's okay. I was a stop on the way to somewhere else, a book left half read on a dusty shelf. I never let him in, never opened the gate. I thought I was safe from this twisted fate. Then you promised forever with a look so true, and for 3 whole years I believed in you. No one ever stayed long enough to break me. No one ever stayed long enough to take me down to the depths where the cold water flows. But you held my hand just to let it go. You taught me to love just to leave me behind. Now the never is all that I'm able to find. I'm packing the memories, the 3 years of grace, deleting the photos, erasing your face. You found a new rhythm, a new song to sing, while I'm left here wearing a broken wing. I'm walking away through the tears and the rain. The man who felt nothing now owns all the pain. Go to his arms, go find your new light. I'm fading back into my permanent night. I'll survive this heart, I'll survive this blow, but I'm leaving never let the shadows touch my skin. I never let a stranger wander in. I had my walls, I had my pride, with nowhere to go and nothing to hide. I never let anyone get too close. I was the one who feared the ghost of a memory made of a heart that bled, of all the words that could never be said. But you walked through the fire, you crossed the line, and for 3 short years I thought you were mine. Now the distance is back, but it isn't the same. The silence is loud and it's screaming your name. I see you leaning in close to him, while my world is shaking, becoming so dim. The walls I rebuilt are starting to crack, 'cause once you've been close, there's no going back. I'm back at the start, but I'm missing a part. I kept my distance, but you got through. I used to laugh at the songs on the radio, the Hollywood endings, the scripted show. I called it a chemical, a trick of the mind, a fairy tale left for the weak and the blind. I walked through the world with the cynical stare, convinced that the magic just wasn't there. I thought love was just an illusion, a beautiful mess, a grand confusion. I lived in the logic, I lived in the cold, till you gave me a story that had to be told. 3 years of believing, 3 years of the truth. Now I'm losing the only hope of my youth. Now I'm watching you give that illusion away to someone who met you just yesterday. The fake thing I felt was the realest I've known, and now I'm just real. life's song. You're proving me right as you walk out the door. The love doesn't live here, not anymore. Just a hole in the heart. I traded my peace for a beautiful lie, and now I'm just watching the fantasies die. It was all a dream, a beautiful breaking dream. Back to the logic, back to the fake. I used to find peace in the empty air. No heavy secrets, no burdens to share. The quiet was steady, the quiet was kind. A sanctuary living inside of my mind. I didn't need voices, I didn't need light. I was a shadow at home in the night. Silence was enough for me. Before you brought the melody, you filled up the rooms with your laughter and song. You made me believe I finally belonged. But now that you're gone, the silence has changed. It's hollow and biting, it's cold and estranged. 3 years of talking, of whispers and plans. Now I'm just holding the air in my hands. You're sharing your rhythm with somebody new, while I'm left with echoes of things we'd pursue. The quiet I loved has turned into a scream. The end of a forever, the end of a dream. Chest, a house full of ghosts that won't let me rest. It was enough before I knew you. Now the silence is just lonely. was a mountain, I was a stone. Built my own empire, all on my own. I didn't need a witness, didn't need a friend, didn't need a story with a bitter end. I walked through the fire with ice in my veins, a king of the desert, a master of chains. I told myself I didn't need anyone, until the moment you became my son. I traded my armor for the touch of your skin. I opened the gates and I let the world in. But now that you're leaving, the desert is back, and I'm just a man falling through the cracks. 3 years of believing I wasn't alone, but now you're a stranger, a heart made of bone. I see how you look when his name's on the line, the same way you used to look into mine. The need that I bury is screaming out loud, while I'm just a face lost in your crowd. The truth is my cage, I'm turning the leaf on a black spotted page. I didn't need anyone, that's what I said, but now I'm just haunted by the ghost in my bed. I lived in a fortress with ironclad walls, no light in the windows, no sound in the halls. I was the keeper of a cold, empty space, safe from the danger of a beautiful face. I thought I was winning by staying behind, with a heart made of steel and a logical mind. My heart was never open, it was bolted and tied, until you came along, like a thief in the night. You picked every lock with a whisper and a prayer. Now I'm standing wide open in the freezing air. 3 years of light, now you're closing the door, and I don't have the for reasons you no longer hide. You're giving the keys to a brand new hand, while I'm left adrift in a hollow land. The walls are still standing, but they feel like a cage. The end of the chapter, the end of the page. Why did you wake me? Why did you care? Just to leave me gasping for a breath of your air. I was better in the dark, I was better alone, before you turned my world into a combat zone. It's open now, and it's bleeding. And it's bleeding. The lock is broken. I kept my bags packed, ready to run. I never looked twice at the rise of the sun. I lived like a ghost, just passing through, avoiding the ties that the world tries to glue. I thought if I never held on to a thing, I'd never be broken by the weight it could bring. I never wanted to get attached, to have my soul and my secrets matched. I feared the gravity, I feared the fall. I thought it was safer to feel nothing at all. But 3 years with you was a beautiful trap, and now there's a canyon where there was a gap. I see the new distance in the way that you move, a different rhythm, a brand new groove. You're attaching your heart to a different name, while I'm left here playing a losing game. The strings that I swore I would never let tie are the only things left that are making me cry. It's the attachment that kills, it's the bond that destroys. I'm just a man lost in all of the noise. I let you become the air that I breathe. Now I'm suffocating as you start to leave. Ready to run, but I'm stuck here instead. I got too close. lived in logic, I lived in the math, a simple direction, a predictable path. But then you arrived like a glitch in the code, a heavy emotion I couldn't unload. I tried to analyze the way that I felt, but my cold binary began to melt. Feelings always seem too complicated, a tangled web that I always hated. I didn't want the mess, I didn't want the blur, but then you became the only truth that was sure. 3 years of light, now the signal is weak. The answers are gone and the future is bleak. Now your eyes are a riddle I can't seem to solve. Watching our forever slowly dissolve. You're talking to him in a language of signs, while I'm left reading between all the lines. Complexity kills when the meaning is lost, and I'm finally seeing the emotional cost. It's a beautiful disaster, chaotic sea. I'm drowning in everything you gave to me. I wanted it simple, I wanted it clear, but nothing is simple now that you aren't here. Too complicated. I can't find the system failure. I was a planet with a steady rotation. No need for a map, no need for a station. The stars were my only company then. Safe in the silence, away from all men. I built my own gravity, cold and serene. A king of a cosmos that hadn't been seen. I was living in my own world till you crashed through the sky. Now I'm looking at life through a different eye. You pulled me from orbit, you gave me the sun. I didn't know how much my heart could be won, but 3 years of light are beginning to fade, and I'm losing the home that we together made. Now I see you drifting to a different star, leaving me here wondering where you are. The us we created is burning away as you find a new universe in which to stay. I'm falling through space with no ground underneath, tangled in memories I can't even breathe. The vacuum is calling, the cold's moving in. How do I go back to where I begin? I hate that you showed me how bright it could be. just to leave me alone in this dark galaxy. Back to my world, but the stars are all gone, just empty space. I had a table for one and a bed for the same. I didn't have pictures, I didn't have a name to whisper at midnight, to hold in the cold. I thought I was rich with the silence I hold. I was a blind man walking through a gallery, content with the shadows of my own reality. I didn't know what I was missing until I found you. I didn't know the sky could be such a deep shade of blue. You opened a window, you let in the heat, you made the dull rhythm of my life finally sweet. But 3 years of everything has turned into none, and I'm missing the person I've finally become. Now I see the colors start to bleed from the walls as you take your laughter to different halls. You're showing him the missing pieces I gave, while I'm digging a quiet, emotional grave. It's a cruel kind of magic to show me the light, just to leave me back here in the middle of the night. Go back to not knowing at all, before I knew how it felt to stand 10 feet tall. Because knowing what's lost is a heavier pain than never having walked with you in the rain. And it's breaking my heart. I know exactly what I'm missing. I live behind a door with 1,000 locks, a silent observer just watching the clocks. I kept the curtains drawn and the lights down low, afraid of the seeds that a stranger might sow. I was the master of my own isolation, a king of a lonely, cold-hearted nation. I never let anyone in until you arrived. I never let anyone see that I was alive. You found a crack in the stone and you planted a vine. And for 3 years of Saturdays I thought you were mine. But the door is swinging wide and you're walking away, and I'm losing the person who taught me to stay. There's a footprint leading out to the street, and I'm staring at a world I'm not ready to meet. You're knocking on a new heart, a different soul, while the room that you left has a gaping wide hole. I try to lock the door, but the wood is gone soft from the heat of the love that you carried aloft. Should've stayed hidden, I should've stayed dark. I should've never let you ignite that first spark, because letting you in was my only mistake. Now everything's open and starting to break. The door is wide open, but nobody's there. I never let anyone in. I had a routine that nobody knew. Coffee for one and a solitary view. The walls didn't talk, and I liked it that way. No expectations at the end of the day. I was a shadow in a comfortable room, safe from the light and the threat of the bloom. Being alone felt normal, it felt like the truth. Before you came and stole the rest of my youth. You made the lonely feel like a crime. You changed the rhythm and you changed the time. But 3 years later, you're leaving the track, and normal is a place that I can't go back. Now I'm sitting in the quiet, but the quiet is loud. I'm looking for your face in every crowd. You're finding normal in somebody's arms, while I'm waking up to these silent alarms. The house is the same as it was years ago, but it's missing the only thing I needed to know. Used to the cold, I was used to the dark. felt normal. Now it just feels like death. Alone again. I had a routine that nobody knew. Coffee for one and a solitary view. The walls didn't talk and I liked it that way. No expectations at the end of the day. I was a shadow in a comfortable room, safe from the light and the threat of the bloom. Being alone felt normal, it felt like the truth. Before you came and stole the rest of my youth. You made the lonely feel like a crime. You changed the rhythm and you changed the time. But 3 years later you're leaving the track. And normal is a place that I can't go back. Now I'm sitting in the quiet, but the quiet is loud. I'm looking for your face in every crowd. You're finding normal in somebody's arms, while I'm waking up to these silent alarms. The house is the same as it was years ago, but it's missing the only thing I needed to know. I was used to the cold, I was used to the dark, before you came along and you left your mark. Now the alone is a jagged edge blade, and I'm terrified of the life that we made. It felt normal. Now it just feels like death. Alone again. Grayscale life in a grayscale town, watching the clock as the sun went down. Until one day, everything changed. The stars in the sky were all rearranged. You weren't a whisper, you were a spark that tore through the center of my quiet dark. A 3-year explosion of color and light that turned my whole world into something so bright. I remember the look, the shift in the air, the moment I realized that someone was there. To see past the armor, to see past the stone, to tell me I didn't have to be alone. You were the why and you were the how, the reason I'm standing here broken right now. It only took a second for the walls to fall. One tiny moment to risk it all. I never saw it coming, I never had and I let it happen. Now I'm just waiting for the lights to go out. Hmm.